Bethesda's finally given us a release date for Starfield, and the Nintendo Switch 2 potentially won't offer backwards compatibility. All this juicy gaming news goodness and more is in today's Weekly Glitch. Following months of speculation and a surprising absence from an earlier Xbox developer direct back in January, Bethesda's Todd Howard has finally given us a release date for Starfield. The wildly ambitious space-based RPG will be coming to Xbox, PC, and launching straight into Xbox Game Pass on September 6, 2023, just a little later than Microsoft's confirmation before that it'd be coming in, quote, the first half of 2023. Despite the delay, it's still exciting to finally have a release date for one of Xbox's big AAA exclusive games this year, and we'll get to learn even more about it in the form of a Starfield Direct when that comes right in the middle of E3 season on June 11th. Starfield missing June is sure to disappoint some players, but just think of it this way, that leaves you more time to play Final Fantasy XVI and Tears of the Kingdom on other platforms. Final Fantasy XVI has been revealed to be a 6-month timed exclusivity deal on PlayStation 5. That's according to a post over on the official PlayStation blog from the game's director, Naoki Yoshida, who also took the time to set the record straight on a Final Fantasy XVI PC version. He said, quote, "It will not come out in half a year," and that's despite the timed exclusivity period only lasting that long. There's every chance that we could see a PC version of Final Fantasy XVI release eventually, of course, but don't hold your breath to play it very soon. Until then, the latest mainline installment into Square Enix's long-running series will only be able to be played on PlayStation 5. After what feels like years, Discord is finally rolling out for PlayStation 5 users worldwide. The rollout comes mere weeks after those signed up to PlayStation's beta program got a taste of what PlayStation 5 Discord integration would look like. The integration, at least from what we've seen so far, actually looks quite sleek, letting you see when friends on Xbox, Nintendo, and elsewhere are online, and letting you easily invite them on over for a call. The new PlayStation 5 firmware update also brings a whole host of improvements, but particularly for those using a 1440p display, thanks primarily to the ability to toggle on and off VRR compatibility in order to smooth out any choppy images. Other small features added include the ability to save video clips via voice commands and the ability to transfer files between PlayStation 5 systems. The Meta Quest 2 VR headset has just recently gotten a whole lot cheaper, but not as cheap as it once was before Meta raised the price of it last year due to inflation. Does that make sense? The 256GB version of the Meta Quest 2 now stands at $430 as opposed to the $500 it was before it got raised from $400 last year, while the 128GB version still remains the cheapest option at just $400. The VR wars is now properly starting to heat up then, as this Meta Quest 2 price drop announcement comes mere weeks after PlayStation VR 2 officially hit the market. Sony's headset still has the Meta Quest 2 beat by way of resolution, haptic feedback, and arguably exclusive game support too, but the Quest 2 price drop could be a very tempting offer for Meta's already very successful VR expedition. Could the forthcoming Nintendo Switch 2 not support older games via backwards compatibility? Apparently, that's a possibility, at least according to Night Dive Studio developer Modern Vintage Gamer, who recently in a video dug into the potential components that Nintendo might use for its forthcoming next console. This has been called into question because of how old the hardware that the Nintendo Switch is built on actually is. It does use a Tegra X1 chip after all, developed by Nvidia as far back as 2015. That's 8 years ago. Modern consoles and even smartphones are now built to run even faster chipsets. So Nintendo is likely to follow suit for its next console by moving away from the Tegra X1 architecture. If that's the case, Modern Vintage Gamer suggests that Nintendo Switch 2 will possibly have to look at emulating original Switch games as opposed to running them natively. Otherwise, he goes on to suggest Nintendo will have to look at a Tegra compatibility solution that doesn't actually exist yet. Be sure to tune back next week for even more juicy gaming news gossip. Until then, be healthy and stay playing.